Hey guys, what's going on? RedMaster here, and welcome back to an episode of Cards and Castles TV Commentary. Hope you guys have had a good Easter. I'm going to kind of slow things, or at least try to slow back into things after the little Easter recess that I gave myself here. And we're going to do another TV commentary for today. So without much else being said, let's go ahead and jump into match number 1 and see what these games have in store for us. Alright, and so for our first match here, it's going to be Scookins taking on Tucker 123. A little bit of a Viking Ninja taking on a Warlock Ninja, which I have high hopes that, it is an Awakened deck. But anyway, we're going to see a Lumberjack from Tucker start things off. In response, we'll see a Faithful Drake. From Snookins' hand, it looks like a Trap Dragon. We do see the Dragon Temple go down after the Mischievous Imp comes out from Tucker. We'll see a burn onto the castle. We'll probably see Tucker advance the Mischievous Imp. Yep, take a chunk out of the castle there. Followed up with the Masuda and Salaha Riders, so very early aggression from Tucker's side of the board. We'll see how traps are able to respond to this. Usually traps aren't the best when it comes to aggression because they do need, their units to be hit, trigger the traps, and thereby making some bigger units here. But we'll see. We'll see the Faithful Drake kill off the Imp. We'll see how Tucker responds. He's going to go for the Salahar Rider onto the Faithful Drake to trigger the Secret Dragon. That does pull out a Shadow Drake. The Lash Will does hit on the Temple. Alpha Strike on the Masuda, we assume, are probably going to clean up the Shadow Drake. Yep, just like that. Lumberjack will probably move up as well. Medal of Bravery will bring out a reduced Headwood, thanks to Masuda's Awaken effect. And, Scookins is not in a great place. He's got the Mystic Dojo, but he's finding a lot of his traps right now, which is not necessarily what he wants to see. He does need some units to actually throw out the board to be able to absorb these traps, or else Tucker's just going to go ahead and hit the castle there. We do see Headwood double on the castle, so there goes Dojo. Masuda taking the advantage, going for the Dragon Temple as well. Lumberjack a little chop on the castle. And a Meditation onto Professor Headwood, so getting a little bit stronger there. Maybe some reawakening stuff from him, we'll see. We do see the Aijitsu go down. I don't really think the Aijitsu was the smarter play. I probably would have gone for the green and faithful combination. Actually, no, that's not enough gold, my bad. But I probably would have gone with the green Drake regardless, but I understand he's probably nervous about reawakening, stuff like that. Fear, though, plus blue fireball, so not really going to reawaken. Reawakening would have been a little more valuable there, but okay, going to go for the chop onto, or I guess the blue firebolt onto the Faithful Drake. Masuda going for more castle damage. Headwood moving up, and of course, Scookins not in a great spot here. This especially very good to reawaken, at least for Tucker's side. Looking to not go that route, though. Headwood's going to go ahead, strike the castle, bring out a Shodan. Shodan could end the game, most likely. We do see the Avalanche get played, and then they face the Dragon onto the Green Drake. It wouldn't be smart to attack here, even though normally this would end the game right here, but we do know that Scookins has played a lot of traps, Aijitsu, Secret Dragon, and Might of the Minotaur. I think Tucker's going to do his best to not avoid them here. If he reawakens Headwood, it's over, but he clearly does not have that capability there. We do see Headwood striking the castle. A second Headwood does trigger the Avalanche, which hits the both Headwoods. And again, Shodan looking to kind of try and dodge this Green Drake here. We do see Faithful Drake, which is actually going to be big for Scookins. He's going to go ahead and get the Dragon buff, which does take out the Shodan. However, if this Headwood lands on castle, it is game over, which it doesn't. So the game does continue. We'll see Sentry Golem get played, Lumberjack moving up, make that 2 Lumberjacks. Now, normally I would kind of recommend that, at least you probably should have pushed that second Lumberjack more forward. Same with the Golems, that way you would have had multiple units threatening the face here. But, I mean, as you can see, traps are going down. He pulls Dragon Siege. Stone Dragon statue gets pulled. And he needs something to kind of take out the Headwood, which we do see. It's a Shadow Drake, so not able to take out the Headwood that's left on face there. So that does go, or at least this match does go to Tucker. Very nicely done there. Took him a little longer to get there, but, I mean, the Awakens have the right idea. Early aggression, kind of killing the chance to put down as many traps, and when you get into the later game stuff, you got a bunch of traps there. Unfortunately, I mean, Scookins did not have a lot of units in that match. I think that probably would have maybe changed things up a little bit, but Yeah, Tucker was just able to burn or get around the few traps that were present with units on the board. So a little difficult for Trap Dragons to make a comeback. So overall, great win for Tucker here. But let's go ahead and move into our second match and see what that match has for us. And next up, we've got Jeepers taking on ePOTFIELD. Hopefully, I think that's right. So let's see. Potfield looks like to be running another Awaken based deck here. Meanwhile, Jeepers rocking the Druid Crusaders. We'll see what both sides have to offer. I mean, we do know that Potfield's already got the Awakening stuff. We'll see what Jeepers has got. Both sides going to start off with a turn one, or I guess not really a turn one, but Potfield did bring out Salahar Soldier on turn two. Jeepers with the Salahar Rider. A trap going down on Jeepers' side. Quite interesting to see a trap down this early. I can assume it's going to be Seeds of Regrowth, personally, just based off of what the colors are. So we'll see Dojo go down on Pot's side. Pot goes for the Witch Bolt onto the Rider. He will trigger the Last Will onto the Soldier, but trigger the trap, which again, we do know is Seeds of Regrowth, so Seed does come out. He chooses not to attack with the Soldier, as opposed to he just doesn't want to lose it, giving the opportunity for Jeepers to take out that sleeping Dojo, meanwhile Heavenly Shield onto the Trent. Alright, so a little bit of early aggression on Jeepers' side of the board. Here we do see Swords come out, going to try and not really chip away here, but we see Soldier retreat, Dancing Swords trying to avoid the Trent. We'll see the Trent trade with the Soldier, or at least knock off the Soldier. Centaur doing a little bit of chip damage, throwing it back to Potfield. Potfield using the Dancing Sword here to be able to get a kill onto the Trent. Does Saurus, which I guess for the Centaur does make sense there. A little bit of a waste of the Saurus, but that's okay. We do see the Dancing Sword make a grand kill onto the Trent there. We do see Cultist and Bearhawk come out of the side for Jeepers, but we do see what's in Potfield's hand. That it's going to be a Dragon's Fire. A lot of value off the Dragon's Fire. We do take out 3 units there with 1 card. Very good. We'll see how Jeepers responds. He brings out a Cultist. Alright, so his 3rd Cultist of the game, followed up by the 2nd Centaur. So Centaur will chip away the Dancing Swords here. And that leaves Potfield in a tough situation here. We'll see he goes for the Saurus, which doesn't... he goes for a Rider-Saurus combination here. Personally, I think the Darkbender should have come out, but... I guess maybe he's just in the mindset of, let me see if I can just corner the Cultist, but even though I just don't think Saurus was the right move, he needed to go a Darkbender play. So we do see Cultist taking up a Sacred Quest there, being able to draw after killing the Rider dealing some damage to the Keeper's Castle. Dissipate comes out now, hits the Paladin, Darkbender finally comes out, turn too late, and of course gets himself set up right there. We do see Jeepers now go the Bestial Rage onto the Cultist, so no buff, but that's fine, still gets the Rampage, plus Heavenly Shield, so not only doing a little bit of damage to Saurus, but he's also going to go ahead and hit the Darkbender right here for some additional damage, which is interesting. I would think he uses the Bestial Rage to retreat, but then he throws out the Mana Core, which does make sense. He protects from Darkbender, not really both at the same time, but understandably he is going to try to get one more draw off the Cultist regardless, so there we see Darkbender taking out the Mana Core, Saurus taking out the remainder of Cultist. We do see a Paladin come out now, the one that was dissipated, gets another Sacred Quest. And here I do see a small mistake from Jeepers. He does go for the Bestial Rage onto the Dojo rather than the Darkbender, which is a little confusing. I see that he probably has a Darkbender, or he has the Resolve, so he thinks he doesn't necessarily need to, kill off the Darkbender, but normally in that situation, I would probably go for the Darkbender kill. It's much more efficient than the Dojo. We do see the Resolve trigger onto the Paladin there. We do see Ronin plus Rite of Awakening, I guess, which is fine. But yeah, he did lose that Resolve, which could have been effective taking out the Ronin. So Paladin, regardless, will take out the Darkbender, give himself another draw because he still's got that Sacred Quest. Arbiter's Return comes out, pops the Ronin. Very nice, very nice. Doing some unnecessary heal stuff, but hey, it still works. We do see Paladin move behind the castle, thanks to the fact that it is, I think, rocking a Bestial Rage as well, if I remember correctly. Do see the Golem come out. Golem not going to be able to do a whole lot, unfortunately, for Potfield. 0 attack, not what he needs to clear any of these units off the board. He tries to position it away, but we do see the Centaur Salahar Rider combination going to be the killer for Golem there. And of course, Jeeper is going to go and reinforce that board with a Bear Hog as well. Another Dragon's Fire could clear this board, though. We'll see if he draws it. Pulls a Lumberjack, which can still lead to a Dragon's Fire draw. Takes out the Paladin. Pulls out a Shodan. Not going to be enough to kill it. He does go for the Shodan kill onto the Centaur, which of course makes sense. It is the highest attack after all. We do see Jeepers in response. Headless Horseman lands on the castle. Salahar's Rider and Bearhog both taking away a bit of the castle. Bearhog even going ahead and doing a little bit of a rampage move here, weaken these Shodins so that way if, he decides to trade, then it would be a trade instead of just a kill. But we do see the sudden death kick in, and Potfield not having to heal is going to lose this one, unfortunately. So nicely done by Jeepers. Unfortunately, though, I do think there were a couple mistakes from both sides. Obviously, the Darkbender probably should have come out earlier than it did. There probably should have been, a Darkbender kill earlier than it was. But regardless, I mean, things worked out well for Jeepers in the end. But yeah, a little bit of a tough one for Potfield to get out of here, especially since he did lose a couple of reawakening tools. The Golem came out too late, things like that. It happens. But regardless, we do have one more match to get to, so let's go ahead and jump into that match right now. Alright, and for our final one here, it is going to be La Verga taking on Meliodas. We do see a Viking Warlock, taking on a Pirate Crusader. That's where I thought of Crusaders. But let's see, both players passed their turn ones. Not really surprising there. We do see a School of Magic, so quite interesting. We do see the Temple in hand too, so I can pretty much assume that La Verga is trying to rock some kind of chain manipulation deck here. Meliodas brings out the School with the coin. Interesting play there on Holy Altar from Verga's side. In a weird position, blocking off his own spawn point there. I don't necessarily recommend that, but, I mean, okay. So we'll see how he uses that one. But Darkbender going to go ahead and come out now. The House of Daggers, on Meliodas' side will get him some additional draw here. Thanks to the extra coinage. We do see Smuggling Ring, so a little bit of, Dragon's Horde Smuggling Ring, Bring him a bit of minor spells into the hand here. Dwarven Archives going to go ahead for more draw. So no units on Meliodas' side so far. Only buildings, really. We do see Verga being able to set up now, though, with the chain. Placing a temple down here. Darkbender being quite aggressive and going for the explosion chain that does take out all surrounding buildings. So that was a smart move, cutting off Meliodas' draw. We do see a Flux come out, though. Battle ready going on to him as well. And ambush to boot. So Darkbender does bite the dust here a little bit. Pulls a Mystic Journey and Heavenly Shield. We do see the Heavenly Shield played onto the Flux. So a little bit of a Super Flux coming out here now. And Verga doesn't really have the burn or removal to deal with that. We'll pull out a Rune Warrior here just as a quick defense. That's fine. We'll see how Meliodas responds. He can take out the Rune Warrior, but instead goes for the zombie as to not really waste a whole lot of health onto the Flux. It will be more tradable with the Rune Warrior, though, which I can assume is what the plan is here. We do see a Merchant Estate go down, followed by a Shaman. So, again, even more cards into the hand for Meliodas. We do see a Frost Giant, which perfectly freezes that Flux. So, of course, Rune Warrior actually able to take it out without actually dying, which is a bit problematic for Meliodas. I think he was probably hoping for that trade to go through. But we'll see how he is able to respond here. We do see a Storm Strike onto the Shaman. We'll do a couple of things here. Well, I mean, a lot of damage for sure, but, I mean, nothing really being taken out. School, Altar, Frost Giant, all significantly weakened, but not out yet. Judge trades with the Rune Warrior and Ninja Training for some additional cards. Throwing it back to La Verga now. La Verga going ahead, setting up a second altar, followed up by a Master at Arms. Alright, very nice. We'll see what Meliodas got. Meliodas actually not really throwing out a lot of units, which surprises me. There's the Murder, so there goes the Master at Arms, followed up by a Master Thief, plus School of Knowledge. Okay, so trying to get some more cards back into his hand with the Estate School draw combination there. We do see Frost Giant take out the Master Thief without dying. Very weakened at this point. Yarm Giant follows suit, charging it all the way in to probably get at that School, I imagine. I don't really see anything else but the School. Well, he could probably do some castle damage, but School, I think, being a major target, especially. Captain going ahead, taking out the Frost Giant. Krax is coming out now, dealing some damage to the zombie, but the explosive chain means that his School is also taken out in the process. That's a bit of a tough one. I probably would have tried to block in front of the Yarm for that one, despite that being, right there for Yarm setup. But here we go, Yarm taking a big chunk out of the castle here thanks to Thunderstrike Chain. Not only the chain from his ability, but the 2 temples as well. So multiple chain procs happening off of that play. Grotesque Offering on the zombie being, just for more draw here. Ice Drake looking to move forward to end the game as well. And then Meliodas has a chance to, I guess, counteract here. I mean, we'll see what he does. Cleric comes out. Knocks a little bit off the Yarm Giant there. Heals itself and not the castle, which is unfortunate. He did probably want that castle heal. So Kraken's finishing off the Yarm there, losing, of course, to the multiple chain effects. Flying Books trades with the top zombie to ensure that doesn't do anything spectacular. Merchant's Favor, and a Mercenary's Execution onto the Ice Drake. Which is a shame, considering that the Yarm, we do see another one in Laverga's hand, so maybe if he held off on the Mercenary's Execution, but I assume he doesn't really have anything to take out, or at least guard for the Ice Drake, which is a shame. I guess when you consider that, as I, hold on, quickly pause this, in that, previous setup, we did see that the Ice Drake, this is pretty much game ending, no matter how you look at it. Considering that if the normal block doesn't work, where you would throw it in front of your castle, because of course the School of Magic chains an explosion, which of course will chain multiple temple procs, so you do lose in that scenario. But if you don't guard, if you don't maybe put the unit in front, Drake just flies right over it and takes out the castle with the attack directly. So it's a bit of an unblockable situation, so I understand where Meliodas had to play the execution here just to ensure that he had to survive, but it is a shame because we do see the Yarm Giant, which we do know does get played here. As we're going to go ahead, you see that play again. Yep, there's the Yarm Giant. Followed up by some zombie movements. Forgot to move the top zombie, question mark? That's okay, I don't think he needs it anyway. Dread Pirate Robbins comes in, armors up, looks to hit the Yarm, but not enough to kill it, and of course the multiple temple procs and Thunderstrike means that Laverga does take this one. Overall, very nicely done from Laverga. I do like these chain explosion decks, as much as they do irritate me to play against. I really like seeing them in action, because they create quite a spectacle with the stuff they can do with chain. And chain is just one of those very deadly, if you're not paying attention, you're gonna get hurt by it kind of abilities, where you gotta be paying attention to things like the positioning much more than you would be normally, because of course you put things in the wrong spot and they chain over and take out some of your more valuable things, like the Schools of Knowledge were taken out very easily, the gold game was taken out very easily. So yeah, very good for Laverga. Loved that match, but I think that's going to be where we end off this video today. Overall, great matches from all the players we saw today. And with that being said, guys, if you did enjoy this edition of TV Commentary, let me know your thoughts of the matches by down. Let me know down in the comment section below. And while you're down there, if you haven't done so already, be sure to like, share, and of course subscribe if you are new or haven't done so already. Best way you could support the channel, after all, is clicking the subscribe button at no cost to you. And with that being said, guys, until next time, stay gaming.